Tonight, growing frustration after a local mom says she was turned away from getting her coronavirus vaccine because she's an undocumented immigrant and does not have the proper identification.
This is problematic because, according to the city of Philadelphia and to the federal government, their guidelines, they say that a government-issued ID is not required to get your shot. You don't need a driver's license. You don't need a passport. NBC 10's Danny Freeman joins us live from Holmesburg. And Danny, despite the rules, the Philly family says their mom was turned away anyway.
That's right, and this is the Walgreens where Scott Munoz says his mom was denied that coronavirus vaccine because of her immigration status. Scott tells us that he's speaking up about this because he feels that those who don't have a voice like his mom, they deserve to be heard. When Scott Munoz's parents became eligible for the coronavirus vaccine in Philadelphia, he knew he'd have to sign them up.
My dad works in construction, so he's usually home late, and my mom works in sanitation, so she gets home pretty late as well.
And it was easy. They both work in Philadelphia, they both live in Philadelphia, so Scott scheduled their appointments together at this Walgreens yesterday. But there was a problem.
My dad here is a legal citizen, so he had no problem showing any type of identification. But my mom on the other side, on the other hand, we're actually working on her case right now to get her legal citizenship here, but she doesn't have any type of government-issued ID other than her Mexican passport.
And Scott says when folks at this Walgreens asked his mom, Carmen, for her ID, the Mexican passport wasn't enough. His dad got a vaccine, but his mom was denied.
She felt very, in a way, she felt embarrassed.
According to both the City of Philadelphia and the Centers for Disease Control, vaccines must be available regardless of immigration or health insurance status. In a statement, Walgreens did not directly respond to questions about Scott's mother, but did say asking for ID is to make sure the person who shows up is the person who has the appointment. Adding, quote, unless specifically required by a jurisdiction, our policy is not to turn away individuals who do not produce an ID. Citizenship is not a requirement for a vaccine. The city spoke to a Walgreens representative and said there may have been a misunderstanding regarding staff looking up Scott's parents' insurance.
I think that's a question of how well educated staffers are in commercial sites.
Esperanza's Danny Cortez says the fear of government is real for undocumented folks showing up to get their shot at all, but it's necessary.
I think it's incumbent on us to ensure that everybody, whoever the person is, wherever they come from, whatever their status is, have an opportunity to be vaccinated. It's in the best interest of for health in America.
Scott says now his mom isn't sure she even wants the vaccine anymore.
But I think I'm going to try to persuade her, to get the shot, because this is the right thing to do.
Meanwhile, Danny Cortez from Esperanza says that he feels this is the exception to the rule. This has not been the norm in his experience, but he also says that if Scott's mom wants that vaccine, she can come to Esperanza. From Northeast Philadelphia, Danny Freeman, NBC 10 News.